Here are my agree to disagree book opinions. Both the books that I don't like, but I can understand why you would, but also the books that I like, and I guess that I get it if you don't. I'm going to start with the books that I didn't care for. I'm going to give 5 examples. My first one, I Who Have Never Known Men. Sorry. I did give this 3 stars, but I would have given it 2. This is what I wrote for my review, but I fully would have given it 2 stars if it weren't for the irony of the fact that I felt like the main character and I faced the same thing, not getting what you desire. For her, it's in her life. For me, it was in this book. I was bored, but that doesn't feel descriptive enough. I just didn't care for all of the loose ends that came from the ending. I don't know. Sorry. Then, Slaghterhouse-Five. It's a classic. I can't deny that it's a classic. And that's why I can see why people would enjoy this. The writing was good. Maybe it's just not my genre. But the thing is, I don't even know of another book in this genre. It's a satirical analysis of his life, but kind of science fiction-y. What I said about this book in my review, I think, is that it's like A Wrinkle in Time written for adults. So, next up, I don't own the other 3, but Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I have recommended this book actually to people. It's just not my cup of tea. I could see this being for the Sally Rooney lovers of the world, the miscommunication trope people. It's miscommunication done well, and that's hard to come by. But I guess it just wasn't for me. I don't know. Another one that maybe I went out of my genre, but I thought I'd give it a try. And I'm still gonna read Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors too, because I liked her writing, and I even thought that her characters had depth, and I thought they were good characters, but I didn't like how they interacted with one another, I guess. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've read the book, and I have recommended it to my Sally Rooney fans out there, but not me. Next up, and this one is hard for me to say, Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I know, it's rough to hear, and it's another one where I knew the writing was good, but that being said, I was in the hospital when I read it, and I've had C. diff, and if you've read the book, you know that plays a big role in her OCD and like in her life. But in my mind, I was just like, you're way less likely to get it than I am, because I've actually had C. diff, and when you've had C. diff, you're more likely to get it. And I was just like I was just caught up in that detail too much. I thought that I don't even remember her name. I thought that her character though was so well written, and the depiction of having OCD and mental health was obviously super well written because John Green wrote it. And, well, he has struggled with similar things as far as I'm aware. And it's not that I haven't enjoyed any of his books. I gave 5 stars to The Fault in Their Stars. I gave 4.5 stars to The Anthropocene Reviewed. I've seen him speak to a panel of people about tuberculosis for Everything is Tuberculosis. So I'm a John Green lover. That book just wasn't for me. And I think it's because I related too much, actually. What else? I had one more. Oh, yeah. The Vegetarian. I got hate on that when I posted it on TikTok that I didn't like that book. And I'm not going to go too in depth because people really did not like that I had this opinion. But it's my opinion, okay? I understood its push against societal norms and the boosting of female autonomy, and I just think that because I experience things like that in my day-to-day life that I didn't need a book about no. Sorry. But that being said, I think people can enjoy it, clearly. And I can understand it, and I respect your opinion. Okay? Moving on. Next up are the books I love, but I'm not going to be a hater if you didn't love them too. I just realized that I have none of these physical copy because the 2 that I actually own, people are borrowing them. But that being said, we're still going to go for it. So, first up, Intermezzo, Sally Rooney. I told you I still like the book by her. The reason I can understand why people wouldn't like it is because I didn't like Normal People. And if you didn't like her writing when you read Normal People, then you wouldn't like Intermezzo. Like, it's still written in a similar manner and with her writing style. So I guess I get it, you know? The biggest thing for me, and here's what I wrote about it, but the biggest thing for me is that there were actually characters I liked, and it felt like there was a push to like those characters. Whereas in Normal People, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel any attachment to the characters. In fact, most of the time I disliked them. And with Intermezzo, I didn't feel that. And I thought that the story was unique. And honestly, there's no story written like it. So that's that. Next up is The Midnight Library. Another unique story. I do feel like it actually could have been executed better than it was, but I still enjoyed reading it. It was the concept of she's stuck in a library, kind of in an in-between life after not wanting to live. I did like the concept, but like I said, I think it could have been done better, and therefore I can understand if you didn't enjoy the way that this book was written. Next is The Silent Patient. I loved this book. 5 stars, easy for me. I also read The Maidens, and I think I also gave that 5 stars, although that somehow felt like a lesser 5-star book. But The Silent Patient, the reason I can understand if you don't like it, even though why, is because there was like a Greek mythology undertone to the book. And I never learned Greek mythology in school because I moved around right at the cusp of everyone learning it. And if you enjoy that kind of thing, maybe this wasn't your cup of tea because you may have wanted more or different details, or maybe you felt like something was missing. I don't know, because I don't know anything about that. But that is like the one point that I've seen in lower reviews that seems to be most consistent. I loved it. Not because I didn't understand the book. I understood the book really well. And actually I think it taught me a little bit about Greek mythology. But if you already knew that, I don't know if this was for you. I don't know. Next up, Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I love Dolly Alderton. I've read 2 of her 4 books, but I own the other 2 and need to get to them. But the reason I can see this being not that enjoyable is because it's nonfiction. So many people don't like nonfiction nowadays, and that's okay, I guess. But if you're trying to get into nonfiction, I highly recommend you pick up this book because it's a good segue from contemporary fiction and romance into the nonfiction memoir world. It is so well written. I have the intention of going back and annotating that whole thing because I started underlining as I was reading about halfway through, but I just think it needs more. It deserves more. But I get it. If you just straight up do not like nonfiction and you've tried multiple books and you didn't enjoy this one, then clearly you just don't like nonfiction, and that's okay. But I'd keep trying if I were you. I'd keep trying. Lastly, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This was a book I read, I want to say in 2020. Magical realism up the wazoo. The descriptions of the setting is so beautiful. But this is a very setting and magic driven book. So if you're more of a character driven person, this might have been a bit of a hard read. I've also heard from friends that they didn't enjoy this book because it was boring. That's okay. It's fine. It can't be for everyone. This was recommended to me. I read it. I loved it. I've recommended it to others and it's fell flat. But I've also recommended it to others and it's been a good book. So it's a hit or miss book, honestly. It might be the writing. I don't know. This one's a little bit harder for me to understand, but I think that it's just difficult when you love something to not see somebody else love it as much as you do. That being said, I hope you enjoyed. These were my 5 books I didn't like that I can see why you would, and my 5 books that I did like that I guess I get that you didn't. But keep reading. Keep reading and find the books that you do like and recommend them to me. Let me know. Anyways, I hope everybody's had a great day, and I hope that you enjoy your books.